Um, let's see, people are here. Doesn't seem I don't know if anyone's in here yet. I can't tell. The like thing doesn't update always right away, so I have no idea. But yeah, we'll start in a few minutes. We're gonna go through the 25th to the 48th law tonight. Um, I don't feel like doing more than that. So when we get through it, we get through it, and I'll end the stream. But um, yeah, thank you guys for those of you that were here yesterday. Thank you guys for all the support. What's up, Christina? Christina, are you gonna be a menace tonight? Or are you gonna be more tame? Gonna be more calm? I don't know if I have the energy for a um insane Christina tonight. But yeah. Christina, were you here yesterday? I saw you at one point. Don't like I have to just remove stuff like this. Like don't say shit like that. It's always causing problems, aren't you? Jeez. Saying things I don't want to know. Why are you scared? Bro, don't. I'm literally gonna ban you if you start. Like, don't go into details. Already have to delete messages. You're trying to let that one guy. Oh, okay, okay. I mean, why? Because this is like not like I don't know the guy. You know what I mean? If you have input, give your input. I mean, that's the entire idea of doing this live, so that people can, maybe give examples, maybe respond to what I'm saying, maybe in some way, share their own experience. Yeah, is this too? No, I can still read this. Okay. Um, yeah, we'll start. I think there's a few people in here already, so as people start to come in, they'll maybe you know watch the first parts of these when we go through them. But yeah, 25th law of power: recreate yourself. This one's very very important. This one is something that we need to understand. Like people will treat you however they view you to be. And for many people, we get treated like we were in high school. We get treated as if we're the same person until we start making changes, until we start, dressing differently, until we start carrying ourselves in a different way. Um, the one way to get treated different by different people, or get treated differently by the same people, the people that have known you forever, is simply just change your attitude, simply just change your opinion, simply just change the way you dress, change something about you to recreate who you are. What's up, Ashley? How's it going? Ashley didn't respond to my text. Damn. But yeah, recreating yourself and showing up in a new version of yourself is going to allow you to really just roll the dice again. Because the second you start changing is the second that people start changing the way they view you. Um, the more they know you, the more you're gonna have to do for them to view you differently. But yeah, this is just an interesting one, and I think this is one that we should really all play around with because right now I'm like completely burnt out. Right now I'm like completely exhausted, and it's time for a change. It's time for me to do something, change an approach I'm doing, change something that I'm doing so that I feel good again, so that I feel like I'm, myself again. Right now, I don't feel like myself. Right now, I feel like I'm going through the motions. I'm not motivated for anything. And like simply pointing myself in a new direction, you know what? Maybe I want to start studying economics. Maybe I want to start, studying more psychology. Maybe I want to get more into religion. Maybe I want to pick up C.S. Lewis. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I need to do something new right now because I'm just exhausted. I don't feel like myself. And recreating your self image has just tremendous effects. I'm not going to get into every single detail because we have to go through 24 laws. But again, recreating yourself and changing how you appear to others is something that's always going to benefit you. Keep your hands clean. Law 26. This one is think of Okay. The best example for this is HR departments. So what an HR department basically is a second legal department. It's basically like the corporation can wash their hands. They don't have to directly, the boss doesn't have to directly fire people. It's HR. HR is always the person that you talk to. Like if you have a meeting with HR, you're probably getting fired. They're not your friend. They're not there to help you out. And should I go to Job Corps for college? Depends what you want to do. What you want to do. And like college isn't for everybody. You don't have to go to college for a good career. It's just it really depends. Like I need more details. I need Um, like, is it financially smart for you to go to college? Like, can your parents support you? Can your parents help you out? Um, would you be better off going to community college? Like, if you don't know what you want to do, I wouldn't tell you to go to a 4 year university. I'd tell you to go to community college first. I told you get some general idea of what you want to do because, like, I I have a college degree, but I don't want to do anything associated with it. So it was like a wasted degree. I literally had to go to a graduate school because I didn't want to do anything with my degree. So it's like I wasted a lot more money simply because I did something I didn't want to do. So I think these aren't easy questions to answer. I think these are deeper considerations. Back to what I was saying, keeping your hands clean. It's always best as a leader to make it seem like you're not the one who did something. Like you're not the one that made the heartless decision. Like if you have to do layoffs, it's always better to let the HR worker do the layoffs because then people are going to be afraid of you. Then people are going to treat you differently. FDR was notorious for this when FDR was president. Um, Basically, what he did is he had someone in his cabinet that he would just blame for everything. He would say, "Oh, this terrible thing happened because this guy did it." And like they were really just friends, but the guy was just taking the fall for everything and making FDR seem like a good guy while this guy was taking all the blame for everything. It's a very smart thing to do, and it's I mean, think about it from this perspective. Like, it's always good to have a fall guy, and if we could position ourselves in a manner where we don't seem like an evil person, we don't seem like a bad person, we can, you know, kind of keep that holier than thou image. I'm broken. My mom is too. Should go. Look into community college, cause like I don't know, certain states have really good in-state college tuitions. But in my state, there it's in-state is more expensive than most out-of-state institutions. So it's like it really depends. It really depends on the state, depends on the grades you have, depends on what it is that you want to do. Um, I don't know how much financial aid you can get. Do you know what the FAFSA is? The FAFSA is like the federal student student loan. I don't know the acronym, but it's the federal student loan thing. So if you file for that, they'll tell you how much money you're going to get based off of your tax bracket, based off your parents' tax bracket. So if your parents make a lot of money, you're not going to get a lot of um, like you're not going to get a scholarship, a federal scholarship, a federal loan. But if your parents don't make that much, you do get a lot. I don't qualify really for anything, and it sucks because it's like I'm going to college so I can get a job. Why am I putting myself into debt and my parents in debt when it's like just let me take a loan for however much I'm gonna go to school for? Like why do I have to come up with a fund? It's just fucking stupid. It's the government being fucking dumb. But yeah. Anyway, 27th law of power. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult like following. So this is the thing of like Think of think of movements, think of political parties, think of all of these things. What do they do so well? They play up to the it's us versus them. It's I'm merely a messenger. Like this movement is so much deeper than just me. It's us against the world. We're the only group of people that have the power to change the world. Like whenever you hear words like this, whenever you hear ideas like this, you're in a cult. Whatever it is, get away from that because people inherently need to believe in something above themselves. And nowadays people don't believe in God, so they find that through, the Church of Scientology, through, you know, other, the mega churches where the pastor is on strings and flying around, like all that crazy nonsense. And it's like the reason these things work is because people need to believe in something. People need to believe in these things and understand when you're being manipulated. I wouldn't say build a cult like following. I don't do this. Like I always tell people, if you follow me and you don't agree with something I say, then good. but that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to agree with me blindly because if you agree with me blindly, then you're not yourself. I want to lead you to yourself. I want you to become all that you can be. But I don't want you to become me. I don't want you to believe everything I believe. I want us to disagree on most of the things. If we can come to an agreement on some things, that's all I want. And it's like a true leader leads you to yourself. That's truly what it is. And I think we need to start recognizing more and more the group think that we're being forced upon. Like in this country, it's left or right. In this country, you think Donald Trump is your savior or he is, the next 1940s dictator. Like that's truly what we're told. And the truth is, in reality, like both parties are funded by the same multinational corporations who don't represent your interests, that don't care about you at all. But again, people need to believe in something, so that's why people will die on this hill. That's why people will break up families over Thanksgiving. It's just pure nonsense, and we need to start recognizing these things, especially today, because I'm going to tell you what. Now that people don't believe in God, they believe in politics, they believe in science, they believe in all of these lesser ideals. And we need to understand these things so that we can wrap ourselves and take ourselves away from this group thing. It's just so destructive in terms of the psyche. Think of, you know, your relatives that you can no longer get along with just simply because they're so wrapped up in these issues. They don't understand that these things don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, this is a very important law and something that we need to start recognizing. I don't say necessarily use it, but just be aware of it. Enter action with boldness. This is a very, very important law for the fact of like, if you're gonna try something, go all out. Don't go half-ass. If you want to start a YouTube channel, don't don't post one video and then quit. Like post 1,000 fucking videos, fail, 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 and like then give up. Like you never want to go into something half-assed because you always have that excuse, well, if I had just tried harder, if I had just done this, and I have a really good friend who does this. I have a really good friend that will do something 20, 30% of the way, and he will never finish. He will never carry it out. He'll never work hard enough or long enough so that he can see if he was good enough or not. And then he'll just tell me, yeah, I could do this if I really put in the effort. And it's like, I don't want you to do that. I want you to find out everything that you can become. And it all comes from this. It all comes from entering action with boldness, entering action, knowing that you may not get another chance at this. You have to go all in. That you got to seize the moment. You got to seize the day. Carpe diem. Law 29. Plan all the way to the end. This is very, very important. This is very, very important. The importance of this law is most people have a goal. They have some sort of idea of what they want to do. They don't know the end. And if you don't know the end, well, what's the point? Like, you know what I mean? It's like we need to be strategical in the things that we're doing. Like, if I didn't have a plan for this channel, if I didn't have a plan in case I blow up tomorrow, like that's a great opportunity that I just missed out on. Like, if I didn't have a plan for when I eventually start getting backlash for the things I say, simply because I don't conform to normal beliefs. If I didn't have a plan for this, if I didn't have a way to kind of, you know, express my ideals, express my opinions, like if I wasn't accepting of these facts, like I don't think I'd be ready for when all this stuff happens. I don't think I'd be ready for any of these things. And it's like, when has it ever been good to go into something without a plan? Don't plan. If you don't plan, you plan to fail. That's the saying. I was trying to think of it, but it wasn't coming to me. But yeah, always think of the end. Think of what the result of this is going to be. Never start an argument that's going to lead to a breakup. Like yeah, there's things that we can point out with everyone that we dislike, but is it going to lead to a good outcome? Is it going to go anywhere except you getting in trouble, you hurting your own feelings, you getting upset? You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to go on my girlfriend's phone and like literally read every single message because it literally could be like someone from a project texting her. And I'm going to get all upset. You know what I mean? It's like we can always find something that's going to make us upset, but like, what's the point of it? What's that? What's the end outcome? What's the idea of it? Like, it's just we're our own worst enemies, and always plan to the end so that you know what to do. Because if you don't know what to do, if you act in the moment, you're going to act out of emotion, and acting out of emotion is never a good thing. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. This is a very, very important law. Um, the more you can make your accomplishments seem effortless, the more people are going to respect you. The more people are going to respect you, the more you're going to build a more fantastical reputation. Like, think of the people that you respect the most. Like, people respect Michael Jordan the most. They don't really understand his work ethic. They don't really talk about his work ethic. They're just like, man, that guy could dunk from the foul line. And it's like everyone always just appreciates the end product and doesn't talk about the other stuff, doesn't talk about all the work that leads up to it. Like nobody talks about how Da Vinci, well, I talk about it, but no normal person talks about how Da Vinci spent like 12 years painting the Mona Lisa. No one talks about how Da Vinci went out in nature and observed how leaves moved in the wind and how the branches brushed around and he was observing colors for years and years and years and that's why his paintings are so good. Like nobody talks about these things. It's always just, oh, look at that amazing painting. Look at this, look at that. You know what I mean? It's like he has so many works that have lasted to this day. It's almost fantastical the work he did. But if you look at the work he put into his training, into his practice, into his methods, you're like, yeah, okay. Like honestly, if most people did the exact same thing as him, they would be a famous painter. He simply just put in that much work. Obviously, he had a gift. Obviously, he had a vision. Obviously, he had talent. But like nobody sees that talent. Always make it seem effortless. Always make it seem like you're just naturally talented, and it's going to add to your air of mystique. It's going to add to your level of respect. It's going to make people look to you as if you're almost a mythic figure and not a man. And I think it's an interesting perspective, and I think it's an interesting thing to do. So always downplay the work you put in. I always just say, ah, it wasn't that bad. It's not a big deal. I think this is going to get you a very long way. Control the options. Get others to play with the cards you deal. This is a very, very interesting one. This is one where you basically, so a good way to do this is when you're negotiating with someone, you give them a deal that they can't. So I actually did this today in one of my classes. We were doing some sort of um, some sort of negotiation agreement, and we were splitting up assets. And I mean, obviously this is a market agreement, but I'm like, you know what? You guys have the kids. You guys have the house. You guys need to get to and from. Like, I don't want my clients' kids being picked up in an Uber. I want the parents to have it. So I got the alimony payment reduced simply by giving up a car. And it's like that's I was like, damn, I really set up this option because I built up this emotion, I built up this thing, and I basically laid it out there that like we can fight for the car or you can just take this. We can liquidate the car and you can go buy a new one or you can just take this car. And I thought it was a really good compromise. Law 32. Play to people's fantasies. This is one that we need to understand. Everyone inherently has an imagination, and everyone's imagination is always more fantastical than reality. And one thing that you can find is that, I mean, this is something that the game guys, the guys that teach game, this is what they talk about. They don't understand why they'll tell you to say less. They'll tell you to slow down your speech. They'll tell you to not reveal all the details. And the reason for this is when you're talking to a girl and you leave out details and you kind of truncate the story and don't tell everything about it, their imagination fills in the gaps. And when their imagination fills in the gaps, you're 10 times more interesting than you actually are. And there's a lot of guys, like I've heard this from so many different guys. I don't even watch How to Pick Up Girls on the internet, but like all the advice, it's always like be mysterious, be mystical, be like a mythic figure, and it literally just comes from people's imagination filling in the gaps, making you seem cooler than you really are, making it seem more fantastical than you really are. And this goes back to one of the laws we went over yesterday, where it was use distance, use your absence to create a better image, a better mystique around you. And it's really interesting because this is something that we should really employ more and more. This is something we should really do more and more. Like whatever, like we all have an aspect of our personality that's looking for some mystery, for some excitement, and you can be this excitement simply by the way you talk, simply by the way you phrase it, simply by the way that you um, engage in conversation and carry yourself. So this is something to keep in mind. This is something to um, overall just play up. But yeah, law 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew. This one's an interesting one. So this law, the basis behind this law is that Everyone has a weakness, and everyone's weakness can be exploited. And I'm not saying this for the, hopefully my shirt doesn't come off. Thank God. Um, Everyone's weakness can be exploited, and it's not necessarily like something you have to do manipulatively. Like when I'm fighting someone, if the guy's a wrestler, I know he's gonna grab an underhook. So if he grabs an underhook, I know I'm gonna Darcy. If the guy's a wrestler, I know there's certain things that he's gonna allow me to do because the wrestlers always have their head up like this. So that means I'm gonna guillotine choke them. Same thing, they're gonna belly down, so I'm gonna rear naked choke them. Like everyone has their weakness. Everyone has some insecurity, something that we can, punch a hole in the armor. And once we punch a hole in the armor, they become, easy. Like I told this story before. I told this story when I made this video originally. I was at a bar with my friend. I just wanted to leave. I wasn't having a good time. And he's like, "No, we gotta stay. We gotta stay." And I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "Cause that girl's staring at me." I'm like, "Cause it's cause your fly's down." And he looks at me. He's like, "Really?" And I'm like, "No, dude. Why are you so insecure?" And it's like if my fly was down, I'd be like, "Yeah, I meant to have it down. Like, yeah, I just gotta give her my shit." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just played it off, but like to see how insecure he got was just to see like deep down the dude's a little insecure about his look. He's a little insecure about his appearance, and like I don't utilize it. I don't bully him for his appearance because that's just mean. But like if I were to, this would be an easy opening. So understand that every individual has something that we can leverage against them. And this is not something I would say doing in your personal life, but let's say it's something to do in a business perspective. Like if you are an attorney, you can always draw into question the personality of the other client, the personality of the opposing side. You know what I mean? Like there's always something that you can hit at that's going to look good in the eyes of a jury. And it's the same thing with any sort of negotiation. There's always the public image that we can begin to throw into question. There's always these little things that we can use to our advantage and really get the better end of the deal. But again, this is something I would only say to use if the other person is engaging in not ethical tactics. Um, Again, most of the time I like to engage where both people get good ends of the deal. Both people feel like they got the better end of the deal. And if that can happen in every single transaction I'm a part of, then that's what I'm going to aim for. But if people are willing to get one over, then we have to respond with the same, actions. Anyway, on to the next one. Law 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. This is like think of any great actor. They were a diva way before they were ever famous. They were a diva way before they were ever really respected. Like there's stories of Kanye like way before he became a superstar acting like a superstar. And it's like the way we appear to others is the way people will treat us. So simply, if you want to be respected more, start demanding more respect. I mean, it's like it seems like not advice. This is something that I think a lot of people would benefit from because a lot of people do a lot of work on themselves, but they get treated the same. And it's really sad because, like, dude, why are you going to do so much work on yourself just to be considered the same person? You know what I mean? Like, I put thousands of hours into myself in the past few years. I've really changed pretty much everything about myself. And it's like, I'm not going to let you say the same things about me that you said in high school. I'm not going to let you act the same way to me. I'm not going to let you be disrespectful to me. Like, you don't get my time. You don't get my attention. You don't get my energy. And it's like, simply by acting like that, I don't even have to make any changes. I don't even have to make any progress. I don't even have to make any results. If I just carry this air of demanding respect to others, people would treat me the way they treat me now. Like none of the results are really on the surface level. They're really on the mental level. They're really on the mental plane, and they're really on the way I carry myself. So if you simply want to be more respected, demand more respect. Truly, true. That's it. Don't put up with these nonsense comments. Don't put up with people that are negative towards you. Don't put up with people that are passive aggressive to you. Like, just don't deal with them. I'm telling you, it's literally one of the best decisions I've ever had. Because I used to always people please. I used to always try to get into good graces with people, and now I'm friendly. And if you're not friendly back, you never see me fucking again. You will literally never fucking see me again. You don't have to deal with me ever again. Because I don't deal with that nonsense. And because of that, the only people I have in my life are amazing people. That's truly the fact of it. And yeah, master the art of timing. This is very, very important. This one might be one of the most important laws. There's always a time and a place. Um, Going back to like the game guys, I think this is one of the easy examples. Like you could have the best game in the world. You could be the most attractive guy. You could have the most amount of money, the most amount of respect, and all that kind of stuff. The social proof and all the things that are gonna get you um that number, whatever it is. But I don't get girls Snapchats. I mean, I don't get girls numbers either. But like, in the hypothetical sense that I was single, or the hypothetical sense that whoever is in this picture is single, I'm getting myself in the hot water. But like you approach a girl and you could literally say the best line ever. You could have the best conversation, but like if she just got a text from her ex and she's like there emotionally, like it's not gonna work. It's not gonna succeed. Like there's a timing element to everything. Like the business deal that you get today is not going to be the same deal you get next week because next week is Black Friday and they're trying to get rid of this year's inventory. Like we need to start understanding that like timing is everything. Timing is everything when it comes to business. Timing is everything when it comes to taking opportunities. Timing is everything when it comes to talking to that girl. When it comes to posting that video. When it comes to doing these certain things because there's there's always a finite amount of time and there's never such thing as a perfect time. Like truly, like there's never going to be a better time than now. There's never going to be a better time than this. And it's also the aspect of like if your enemy's weak and you wait and then you try to strike when they have, recoup their forces, when they regain their strength, you missed a golden opportunity. So like being able to observe this time element, being able to observe and weigh out like the best time to strike, the best time to act, and I mean, this is something that is kind of just like spur of the moment. Like if it seems like a good opportunity, go for it. But yeah, just this is something to keep in mind, and this is something that is pretty fundamental to human nature. Law 36: disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. Um, this is really the thing of like if someone doesn't want you to be in their life, don't be in their life. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure we've all been broken up with. I'm sure we've all not had relationships work out, and it's like what are you gonna do? Are you gonna beg for them back? Are you gonna say, "Wow, this is so sad. Like I really could be so much better for you. I could do all these things," or like just go on your own way. Just find your own things. And like the sad reality of it is, dude, all my exes still stalk me. Maybe not anymore. Maybe it's so far removed, but like there was a time where I'd post a story on Instagram. I just when I go on Instagram, I literally just post like Hyrax videos and like penguin videos, so nobody really stalks me anymore. But like before I was doing this nonsensical stuff, like dude, I'd have people that I haven't been in contact with for like years stalking my page, and it's just like this is just sad at this point. Like you haven't moved on. You're still watching everything I do. Like and it only comes from the fact of I don't care anymore. It only comes from the fact of like, if you don't want to be part of my life, okay, you're not gonna be part of like just simply saying this, simply doing this with everything that's out of your reach is going to attract it. Whether it's, millions of dollars, whether it's a position, like simply just focusing on yourself, simply just focusing on the work that you want to do for the sake of yourself, like the opportunity will come. That girl will come, that job will come, that money will come. The more you fixate on things, the more you focus on the lack, the more you focus on how you can't have it now, the less likely you're going to have it. This is, law of assumption, law of attraction, and this is also just how the world works. Law 37: create compelling spectacles. This is the showmanship of it. This is, kind of being a performer, kind of being able to compel an audience. And this is a skill that I think more people should start to hone. More people should start to practice. More people should start to understand that like when you can create a spectacle of things, when you can draw attention from a crowd, that's when you can do whatever you want. Like the best salesman can command a room. The best salesman can give a presentation to X amount of people and X amount of people will buy. Like you need to understand that like fundamentally we're all selling ourselves and you're always going to go with the most compelling thing to the eyes, the most visually appealing thing. And we need to understand this fundamental part of human nature and It's also interesting to view it from the perspective of like look at advertisements. The reason advertisements work is it's not because they're good. It's not because they're anything aside from just flashy. And like people like flashy things. It's almost like the monkey seeing a shiny rock. You know what I mean? Like that's what people like. That's genuinely how you win most people over. Just be a good showman. Like look at Trump. Trump doesn't really say anything substantial. He doesn't really say anything of substance. He really just talks about a few talking points, says, "Oh, the left's crazy," and then everyone loves him just because he's a showman. He doesn't talk about policy. He doesn't really talk about anything. He just spins it and says the other side's crazy. And it's like you have to like look at people like this and observe what they do and directly copy them and start to take some of their ideas, start to take some of their principles, start to take some of their things that they do and apply it in your own life. What's up? How's it going? Yeah, we are on to Law 38. Think as you like, but behave like others. Politics or entertainment? Yeah, I agree with that. Um, so this law is basically saying that like it's never good to speak your mind. It's never good to reveal all of your beliefs because inherently there's safety in numbers. Inherently, you need to rely on other people for some aspect of success, some aspect of a career. And it's like there's always going to be. Oh, that my roommate takes me something funny. There's always going to be like opinions you have that aren't popular, and especially nowadays in like this corporate environment, these aren't things that you should really necessarily share. Like I have, I mean, I've read pretty much every philosopher, and there's things I can say that are going to get me in hot water, and I don't say them. You know what I mean? Like there's books I've read that I just don't talk about because I don't want to share that I know these things. There's things that I've read where it feels illegal to know, and I'm just like, you know what, we'll stay away from these topics. Like I'm not going to say anything that like exposes me to unnecessary attention. I don't want to be, on some kind of list. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's not even that serious. It's not even like that, but I just don't want to have my messages, not understood because I hold certain political beliefs, because I hold certain religious beliefs, because I hold certain things like this is all about positivity and the power of positive thinking and the power of actually doing work on yourself. Like that is my message. I don't want it to get wrapped up in politics. I don't want to get wrapped up in certain opinions, certain more libertarian, more conservative values. Like I don't want to talk politics because I don't want to get less people watching the videos. I want more people to watch the videos so that they can improve themselves. Yeah, yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. And I think it's something, especially if you're going in the corporate world, it's okay to have your beliefs. It's okay to, have certain ideologies that you support, but like it's never good to say it in the corporate world simply because people can't handle it. There's so many people that can't handle an honest discussion. There's so many people that can't handle a good discussion. And it's really sad that we live in this world, but you need to understand this for the fact of like it's not worth losing your job. Whatever you think, it's not worth losing your job. Until you get to the point where you're financially independent, don't speak your mind. Don't say the things that you want to say. And it's like, I mean, I'm a little hypocritical because I'm trying to say things that I want to say and make money. So that's really my motivation for doing it. But at the same time, like, don't lose a job for what you believe in. Don't lose a career for what you believe in. Don't let your family go hungry because of what you believe in. Like, find a way to do it in a mannered way. Find a way to do it in a way that isn't upsetting to everyone else around you. Law 39. Stir up waters to catch fish. This is a very, very interesting one because I think it was Cortez who did this. Cortez would basically allow people to insubordinate him, and then he would basically force them to take another step. And then when he really understood that there was like a mutiny, when he really understood that people were going to rebel, he did away with this person. And it's basically like giving people the opportunity to betray you, giving people the opportunity to, go behind your back and say certain things. Like, I mean, I'm not necessarily saying test everybody, but like if you have a lot of money, maybe it's a good thing to tell some of your family members that you're broke to see if they stick around. Maybe it's a good thing to see the friends that are really there for you. Like I think one thing that I've really done that I really appreciate about myself is that I stopped needing to please others. I stopped needing to go out to bars, and the second I stopped needing to go out to bars, so many people stopped texting me. And the people that continue to text me are the friends that I talk to this day. The people that stopped texting me, the people that stopped interacting with me, I knew they were just, fair weather friends. I knew they weren't there for me. They were there for the club scene, going out and drinking. It's like they weren't friends with me. They were friends with alcohol, and it's just like I was just someone to do that pastime with, and it's something we should really start to see and start to recognize, and find ways to stir up the mud. Right? Despise the free lunch. Nothing in this world is free. Anytime you get a free lunch, somebody wants something from you. Somebody wants some sort of support, some sort of loyalty, some sort of thing. So never accept anything free. Anytime anyone offers you something for free, they're trying to give you something. Think about big tech. They're they're giving you services for free so that they can take data on what you like and then sell you ads. Like there's literally nothing for free in this world. There's literally nothing for free that will ever benefit you. Always know that there's strings attached, and as much as you can, avoid the free lunch. All we have is the now, yeah. Man, I had a rough day. Literally got my fingers burned. Damn. Hope they're okay. The buildup of my stress can't say how refreshing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, no, it's always cool to just hang out with you guys. Like you guys are the best. Um, that sucks though. Hopefully your fingers are good. Dude, burns like suck. Like I've never had like really serious burns, but I've had like a burn like when it gets to a blister, and that shit's just annoying. Especially your hands too. Are they gonna force you to go back to work? That would suck. Law 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. I think the best example of this is think of any great man who had a great son. And the truth is, it's so hard for a son to live up to the legacy of a great father. I mean, you look at like Michael Jordan's son, like he's dating his dad's best teammate's ex-wife. It's like, bro, why are you doing this stuff? Like you're telling me you couldn't find a single other woman that would like satisfy you. It's almost like he has to get his name in the news. It's almost like he has to establish himself. And it's like if he just stepped out on his own, if he just found his own path, if he just did his own thing, like truly he would be able to have such a great legacy. Like look at LeBron James's son. Like, dude, LeBron James's son forever is gonna be like, oh, his dad's the only reason he's in the league. Like maybe he becomes a decent player, but he's never gonna become his father. And it's like everyone's just gonna say, oh wow, he's just there because, his dad. He's just in the league because of his dad. And it's like, imagine what that's gonna do for you. Like, had he just found his own path, maybe he became another type of athlete. Maybe he started playing another sport. Maybe he played football. Maybe he did anything else. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? Like, he could have created his own legacy. He could have created his own thing, but he followed directly in the footsteps. And because he followed directly in the footsteps, it's so hard to live up to that legacy. It's so hard to be the next LeBron James, especially if you're his son. Because forever people are going to point to that example. Forever people are going to say, you remind me a little bit of your father, but you're not as good. And it's like this is not an approach I think you need to do. Like I think one of the best examples of somebody that did this, somebody that took their own path was Hank Williams Jr. Hank Williams Jr. is a country artist. His son is also Hank Williams III is also a country music star too. But what Hank Williams Jr. did is he first started out by singing his dad's songs, and then he started writing his own music. He started going his own way. He started having like a rebellious side. He kind of did like an outlaw thing, and because of this, like people were like, "Oh, your dad was like the biggest star. Why are you this rebellious guy?" And he's like, "This is me. This is who I am." You know what I mean? Like I'm just doing my own thing, and I'm just making myself happy. And it really tended to his music. It really lended to his authenticity. You got work tomorrow? Damn. I mean, like, can you use your hand now? Did you like? Cause no, I'm not gonna. I can't say because that might be legal advice. Um, did they do like an injury report and stuff like that? I mean, if you can work, go to work. But if it's too much, don't. That's crazy. Like document all the stuff. The thing about all these claims is like if you don't document anything, it's really hard to get any sort of settlement. I'm not saying to sue. I'm just saying like okay, okay. Yeah, if it's not that bad, then don't worry about it. If you got injured at work and they're forcing you to work and you can't work, that's pretty fucked up. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. This is this is a very, very important law. If you take out the ringleader, if you take out the person that's at the front of things, everything else goes away. Like all the Democrats had to do was take Trump out of the election. If any of those charges stick or stuck, I don't think the Republicans won the election. But because they couldn't do that, there's like a new red wave in this country. And it really just goes to show, I think this is, I mean, not to use the political example, but like, I really just think like there's so much power in a great leader. And the second that great leader is gone, everything dissipates. Look at Alexander the Great. His empire collapsed the second he died. There's very few empires that could last, such a great leader, going away. Rome was one of them, but Rome was really a republic that was becoming a dictatorship and empire, and Augustus really just took it over. But it's always best to take out the leader. It's always best to take out the strongest arm of whatever it is that you're approaching, and then move on to everything else. We can go to a more applicable example where if you have a group of workers and they're, in some way talking back to you, like don't chastise all of them. Just take the big one aside. Take the ringleader aside and really have a conversation with him like, hey, you can't disrespect me like this. If you keep disrespecting me like this, it's your job. And then everyone else is gonna stop. Mysteriously, everyone else is gonna stop. It's always it's always the ringleader that holds all the power. And the second the ringleader's gone, it's the second that the issues can't afford missing work. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not telling you to stop. I'm just saying like there's workman's comp. There's things that will provide you pay while you can't work. Like don't feel the need to go into work. Like there's laws on the books that protect workers who get injured at work. But if you can work, I'm not telling you to, mail it in. I'm not telling you to, say you can't work. It is what it is, man. Like, if you get a fucking paper cut, I'm not gonna tell you to skip work. Like, and I don't know how serious it is. So work on the hearts and minds of others. This is a very, very important one. If you could win people over to your side by winning their hearts and minds, then you can basically get them to do anything for you. Like it's very important to have people on your side. It's very important to have people behind you. And if you can win them over through your ability to communicate, if you can win them over through telling your story, that's going to get you so far. Think of any great leader. They were able to craft a narrative. Think of any great political movement. It was because it hit at the emotion. Think about the entire Democratic Party. Their entire platform this time was this guy is a 1940s dictator. Yo, this guy's gonna get rid of your reproductive rights. Like they just said reproductive rights so many times and didn't provide any evidence of anything that was gonna happen that almost half the country voted for them. And it's like it doesn't take much to win people over to your side, but it really just takes you appealing to that emotion. Law 44. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. Something something that we can do to almost conceal our intentions is match that person's energy, match their body language, match their tone of voice, match their ideas. If you can match someone completely, if you can agree with them on everything, if you can mirror every aspect of them, they're just going to be frustrated. They're going to not know what to do. And this is something that can get us through, those terrible HR meetings, those terrible meetings where, you're really just there because the team is unproductive, the team is ineffective, and you have to meet because the team isn't doing anything. You know what I mean? It's like we've all been in places where we don't want to be, and it's just if you just mirror everybody, if you just act like everyone else, you don't have to try. Preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. Think of Barack Obama. I think Barack Obama is the best one. Barack Obama ran on the platform of all these changes he was going to do to America, and the second he got in, he really didn't do anything. And it's so much easier to get into the position by saying all these things but never doing anything. Because the big thing is, if Obama did the changes that he actually intended to do, nothing, he would have been kicked out of office instantly. Like if he changed too much, if he made too many radical changes, not saying it would have been bad for the country, but it would have been bad for his reputation because the people in the government would have been like, no, you can't do this. You're taking away some of our power. You're taking away some of our responsibility. You're doing things that we don't like. And it's like you can never please everybody with drastic changes. So it's always better to do gradual ones. It's always better to slowly implement what you're trying to do. Not saying not to change at all, not saying to get in office and make things worse, but I'm saying like if you're gonna make gradual changes, there's gonna be resistance. Think of yourself. If there's big changes within yourself, if you try to start going to the gym 7 days a week and you don't go to the gym right now, you're not going to be able to keep it up. Your body and your mind are going to start resisting it. And we need to start understanding this and start understanding that this isn't just for ourselves. This works on a much grander scale. And when we understand this, it's much easier for us to, you know, preach about how much we're going to actually do and slowly implement it. Slowly do it incrementally so that these changes last because drastic changes won't last long. Gradual changes where people don't even notice that these things are changing are always going to be more long lasting. How do I become assertive while also being friendly, being yourself? Any advice on any of these aspects? What do you mean assertive? Like you don't have to be passive aggressive with anything. You could just say like give me a scenario where you don't feel like authentic. Like I think if you're just authentic to who you are, you don't really have to change things. I think like there's a natural part of us that doesn't accept things that we're not okay with, but we sacrifice our standards for comfort. We sacrifice our standards to be part of the group, and it's like you don't have to be a dick about it. You don't have to be a dick about like, no, you're not going to do this to me, like, and like storm off. You're just being like, no, this is not how it works. This is not how it's going to. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, just start setting clear boundaries. That's all you have to do. Like, be nice up until a point, and then when someone violates your boundaries, set the boundaries. And you kind of just answer your own question. I think these are really just things of like, you have to find yourself before you stop caring what other people think. The more okay you are with who you are, the more you're going to be able to tell people like, no, you're not doing this to me. But like, if you talk to me 3, 4 years ago and you said, you know what, I like the color blue, I'd be like, I like the color blue, even if I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like now, if I don't like blue, I'll be like, fuck blue. But back then, I would be doing anything just to fit in. I'd be doing anything just to please others. And it's like, there's a thing of being nice and there's a thing of trying to fit in. And you don't want to be nice just for the idea of fitting, just for the idea of being part of the group. Because anytime you have to be part of the group, you have to sacrifice part of yourself. Like I've never been in a friend group. I've never been part of any of these organizations that give you connections. I've never been part of any of these stupid groups, and I've always just kept to myself because I don't need anyone else for validation. I don't need anyone else to make me happy. I need myself. And the more I'm myself, the more happy I am. I mean, if it's difficult for you to be confident about yourself, then you're not yourself. Like you're living off ego. The reason you're not confident is because you're living off ego. You're living off what other people say you are. You're living off how the world views you, or you can shape how the world views you. You know what I mean? Like right now in your mind, you are what your accomplishments are. You are what your resume is. You're everything that can be described about you on paper. You're your bank account, you're your job, you're the car you drive. If you ask me who I am, I can't describe it. I just say I'm me. There's too many levels to who I am as an individual. There's too many levels to the beliefs I have, the things I want to do, the things that I hold in my mind, like the aspects of myself that I've explored. Like if you can describe yourself, then you're not yourself. That's it put simply. Like confidence arises from a sense of self. Confidence arises from who you know yourself to be. Like I truly can approach every situation and be happy and feel like I'm home because I know who I am. I don't worry about confidence because you don't need. confidence when you are yourself. You're just present. You know, you don't stress about things. You don't worry about things. It's not even something that crosses your mind. And the fact that you say you need to be confident is the clarification that you're not confident. Like you're solidifying in your own mind that you're not confident by saying I need to be more confident. Just be more confident. Like just force yourself to face your fears every single day. Try to do something that scares you every single day, and eventually the confidence will just exist. It's really that simple. Um, that's really all it takes. Just keep failing, keep trying, keep learning, keep growing. Because the more you face your fears, the more you realize that they're arbitrary. Seneca said that we suffer more in our own head than we do in reality. And that's the most true thing you'll ever hear. Most people struggle with imaginary issues and never even face the real ones. I mean, the real issue isn't any example. Example of what? I just said a lot of things. An example from my life, or an example from history too, like be more specific. My bad. I was going into another point. I completely forgot what I said. Are you talking about confidence though? Like, if you are looking at a girl and you're like, I just have to get the confidence to go up to talk to her, don't talk to her. Like, if you have to think twice, if you have to say like, oh my god, I want to go talk to her, but I'm scared, like it's not gonna work out. If you just go up to her without any hesitation and talk to her, that's the confidence you need. And just literally just face something every day that makes you afraid. Things to fail at. Um, what are you scared of? Like, what are your biggest fears? What are your biggest drawbacks? What are the things that you struggle with? And find the lowest level of that you can do. Like, if you're afraid to go talk to girls, literally just go to the supermarket, find a find a girl that's a cashier and just say hi to her, even if she's 80 years old. That's you getting over your social anxiety. That's you forcing yourself to do something. Like, if you see a worker, ask them a question. You know what I mean? Like, if you have social anxiety, literally go to a place where someone gets paid to help you. You know what I mean? It's like, and then you can start escalating from there. Then you can just start walking around your neighborhood and saying hi to people. Like, there's all these ways to start building these ideas. People's potential to ruin me, bro. Who are you? What are you, fucking public figure or something? Why are you worried about people's potential to ruin you? Things out of your control. Nothing's out of your control. Everything on the external world is out of your control. Everything on the internal world is in your control. You control your response to these things. Don't worry about what other people think. All you can do is control your response. You can't control other people's free will. You can't control how people respond to you, but you can control your reaction to it and master controlling your reaction to it. Don't get so worked up. Don't get so anxious. Don't get so fearful. It's easier said than done, but like, I mean, dude, if someone breaks up with you, just be like, yeah, I'm about to get huge. I'm about to have a lot of gym motivation. You know what I mean? Like, there's a bright side to everything. There truly is. Like, it's don't fix it on these ideas. Don't fix it on the lack of things. Fix it on the abundance of things. Never appear too perfect. Law 46. This is a very good one. This one is think of anybody that has like a squeaky clean record. Um, I would say Mr. Beast up until all the allegations came out, but like, dude, I've for years I've seen people saying that they don't like Mr. Beast, and it was nothing aside from the fact of like he smiled weird in videos. And like, regardless of any of the rumors going around, I'm not going to speculate on them. I'm not going to say anything, but like when you seem too perfect, when you seem like everything is in order, people are inherently going to look for minor things. People are going to look at your smile and be like, he looks evil. He looks like there's something off. And it's like, be very cognizant of this fact and be very cognizant of people's jealousy because when you have it all together, everyone's going to look at you. And the fact is, nobody else has it all together. So always point out your faults. Always point out your weaknesses. Always say, hey, I just got lucky here. Hey, I think you're actually better than this at me. And if I can do it, that means you can do it too. Like, always find ways to downplay your accomplishments. Always find ways to make yourself seem less perfect. Tell people how many times you failed before you succeeded. Like, don't don't play things up to the point where you're like a demigod, like you're infallible, like you're the next coming of Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Like There's a reason Jesus Christ was crucified. It's because nobody else could live up to his example. It's because he was too perfect. It's because people saw him and they saw what they couldn't be. And it's quintessential with every single person that was, of this stature. You look at Gautam Buddha, look at Osho, look at all these people. They're always misunderstood. They're always judged because they're not you. They're not normal. They're not like everyone else. They don't have these neuroses. They don't have these issues. And I don't know. I think it's a very important one to understand. The fear I have is having the potential but not the actual resolve to dissolve that potential throughout my life. Bro, you're literally just creating your own issues right now. You know what I mean? Like, stop thinking about your potential and think about what you have now. Like, whatever your dream is, just believe you can do it now. That's the biggest shift you'll make. Like, slowly start to convince yourself that you're good enough to do whatever it is that you want to do right now, and slowly you'll get to that. Like, I don't turn on the camera saying that in 5 years I'll be world famous. I turn on the camera and say I deserve to be world famous right now. I can feel the talent seeping out of me. I can feel my ability to talk on camera seeping out. You know what I mean? It's like, what good does it do for you to sell yourself short? What good does it do to say potential? Say, like, live in the now. Live in the idea that you can do it now. You're super tired. Your phone feels heavy. You don't have to hold it up. You rest it on something. You think NPCs exist? Uh, I think everyone has the potential to actualize who they're really meant to be, but a lot of people are stuck in limiting beliefs, and only a certain amount of people will ever get out of these limiting beliefs. But I don't want to say people are NPCs because I feel like all of us who are kind of more aware of things, more aware of state of affairs of the world, like we were all kind of locked in at some point. So like I don't like to say NPCs because I think that limits people and that limits their growth, and I don't want to limit their growth. But I do think that um, everything that's placed in your life is a test. Everything you experience is a test. Everything is teaching you a lesson, and it's learning these lessons. Like you can never avoid the lessons you have to learn. If you don't learn them today, you're gonna have to learn them tomorrow. If you don't learn them in this life, you're gonna have to learn them in the next. So we're always facing issues, we're always facing problems, and it's learning how to deal with these things. Do not go past the mark you aim for. In victory, learn when to stop. This is something we should really understand. I think the best example of this is Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great conquered the entire known world, and he discovered more of the world, and he's like, let's go conquer it. And then he got poisoned by his own men. Same thing with Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar won the Civil War. He became a temporary emperor. And you know what? He wanted to push more buttons. He wanted to expand his authority. He wanted to expand his role. Had he not wanted to be general for life or emperor for life, he probably would have lived a lot longer. Maybe he wouldn't have had the same historical impact. Maybe he wouldn't have been the creation of the Roman Empire, but he would have been alive. And it's like, was it really worth dying? Was it really worth losing your life for a little bit of ambition? And it's always knowing when to curtail this ambition. It's always knowing when to curtail this need for more because I'll try to think of a more present example, but there's always people that like think of Shaquille O'Neal. Dude, how many commercials have you seen Shaquille O'Neal in? How many shitty products have you seen Shaquille O'Neal sponsor? Like, dude, like most people just know Shaquille O'Neal for being in all these stupid commercials now. Like most people don't even respect him for his basketball stuff anymore because we live in that generation where like, what have you done for me lately? And it's like he's almost become a meme of like just branding himself for everything. The same thing with Snoop Dogg. Like Snoop Dogg has a wine. I bet you Snoop Dogg is never even drinking wine. Like why does Snoop Dogg have a wine? You know what I mean? It's like you can you can go too far in your ambition and really damage your brand. Like had Snoop Dogg really like curtailed the brands he endorsed, I bet you would have made a lot more money if he really just focused on two or three. I mean, weed's legal in most places in the country. Like imagine if he just had his own dispensary. Imagine if he had his own brand of that. You know what I mean? Like instead of spreading himself so thin, instead of licensing his name so thin, because now people see the brands that he sponsored, they probably don't make that much money. Had he just didn't done things that were associated with his brand, I think he could have done a lot more. And it's really just from hubris. It's really just from ambition. It's really just from ego. There's no NPCs. We're like a picture of art. We all got the same basic structure, but different. Um, okay. I would say it's a combination of both your ideas. I think there's certainly NPCs, but I don't think you're destined to be an NPC. I think you kind of make the decision. I think it's a choice. I think you can choose to ignore the aspects of life that are deeper than just politics, that are deeper than just science, that are deeper than just religion, that are just deeper than black and white. And that really takes you out of the NPC mindset. But there's so many people that, they literally go to work, go home, watch football, drink beer, eat Cheetos, play fantasy football, go to sleep, do it the next day. Like, at what point of that did they exercise their free will? At what point of that did they exercise anything aside from basic human function? I'm not saying this isn't a good life, but I'm saying like, is this really all you could do? You know what I mean? We're blessed with the same faculties that Nikola Tesla was. We're blessed with the same faculties that Edison and Einstein and all these great individuals were. And it's like, don't you want to see more? And for some people, they don't. For some people, they want to stay stuck. For some people, they don't want to actualize everything they can become. And it's really a conscious choice. But again, I don't like to limit anybody. I don't like to say that anybody is lesser than anyone else. But I did see a study where 70% of people don't have an internal dialogue, and I just thought it was crazy. Like who's in your head all day? Who's giving you ideas all day? Where how do you even form ideas if you're not hearing them? If you're not visualizing them? It's really really weird to me. Law 48, assume formlessness. This is a very important one. This is basically combining every single law we just went over. It's the ability to be rigid when you need to be rigid. It's the ability to be soft when you need to be soft. It's the ability to adjust to whatever setting you're in. The ability to adjust to whatever setting is what allowed Napoleon to be such a great general. The ability to adapt is something that will take you further. Like, think of people that have been influencers for 30 years. It's not because they made the same exact videos every single day. It's because they changed it up. It's because they rode the waves. It's because they followed the trends. They were able to form to what is popular, to form to what is, doing well in the algorithm. And it's really interesting to see, and it's really something we should embrace. And I'm not saying, just become like a cloud chaser and ride the waves, but I'm saying like understand that there's certain tides and know how to go with them. Why'd you say no way? Yeah, we just went through all 48 laws. You guys want to talk about anything else? Yeah, yeah, it's like the Bruce Lee saying, "Be like water." I just learned today from a Hebrew podcast that trunk sentence thinking is a rare way of thinking. I don't know what that means. Truncated sentence thinking? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. I don't really like. I don't think that much of Andrew Huberman. I think he says some cool stuff, but he's also like, I don't know, dude. The more you're into science, I think the less you're into faith. I think science replaces a source of faith, and I think that it inherently limits you because you believe so much in the material. You believe that you can explain, you know, things that are not works of this world, things that are works of the higher worlds. That's a really, really good point. I don't know if you can see the chat, but I'll read it. Look what happens to water when it stagnates. It becomes a swamp. Running water is filtered and healthy. Very, very good point. I actually really love that. Um, that's damn, perfect timing, right? That was awesome. Thanks for that one. Yeah, what do you guys want to talk about? You guys want to talk about anything else? I'll stay on a little bit longer, but I'm like kind of tired, so if nobody's got anything, I'll just end it. I'm not doing like a 4 hour stream today. I don't have the energy. Yeah, this is pretty fun stream. I think we can do this with more books. I certainly want to do this with the laws of human nature. When I get through the 33 strategies of war, we can do this. I think it'd be interesting if I took notes on books and brought up a few key points and went through maybe some quotes, maybe some things like if I highlighted and stuff. I think that might be an interesting format to do. Trunk sentence thinking is starting from an idea and not letting it derail. I don't know what you mean by that. Don't you mean just normal thinking? Did you just describe normal thinking? Like what? How's that different from other thinking? I don't know who that is. You talking about Nietzsche? That might be one of the worst spellings I've ever said of Nietzsche. Yeah, I read a little bit of Nietzsche. I'm not like a huge fan of him though. Not esoteric enough. It's too materialistic. Nietzsche is good at criticizing the institutions of society, but he doesn't take it anywhere. He doesn't. He doesn't have a solution. He doesn't really say anything. And I think a lot of people that read Nietzsche like just become nihilists. I think nihilist is one of like the most reductive philosophies there is. Oh wow, there's no order. Oh, it's just chaos. Wow. Oh, I'm all sad. Like, cool. If there's no meaning and there's no purpose, then you can choose to be happy too. Like we assign meaning to whatever it is. We assign meaning and value to everything. Like it's good that there's no point to life. It's good that there's no strict rules to life because then that gives us the free will to do what we want. That gives us the free will to pursue certain passions. That gives us the free will to, you know, if you want to have a family, have a family. If you want to go explore the world and not have a family, you don't have to do that. That's the entire point of free will. And people take it so I don't know. It's just such a dumb argument, I think. You're so bad at wording stuff. I mean, just like the way you said it, I just didn't get. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Pretty eloquent. Any advice on that? Read a lot of books. See, the ideas I have, it's partly my own, partly Nietzsche, partly Jung, partly Robert Greene, partly, any great author I've read. You retain the thinking patterns of people you've read. You retain the thinking patterns of people you've listened to. So just start filling your head with good influences. Just start filling your head with good ideas, and that's going to go a long way to you. And as you begin to adopt these ideas more and more, you start to come with your own conclusions. You start to come with your own observations. Like you can start to see the dots align and you can start to come up with your own perspectives. And when it's your own perspectives and when it's your own voice, that's when you sound the best. But yeah, really just start reading and exploring these ideas. And I've also done this for years. So that's that's another thing. Like it's just practice. Like when I like if you watch the first few videos I put out, I was okay at speaking, but it's not even close to now. 50 books for the past 2 months? Come on, those are rookie numbers. I mean, audiobooks, you can't count audiobooks for reading. I mean, it's good. I mean, it depends what kind of books you're reading. It depends what kind of books you're reading too. Like, I can read a book a day if I read 100-page books. You know what I mean? Like that's it's really dependent on how long the books are, how substantive they are. Mechanical clock formed from a tornado running through a junkyard. What? Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. You're talking about. Okay. I had no idea what you were talking about. No, you can count audiobooks and just mess with it. Audiobooks are a great way to spend your downtime. Like most people, they listen to, little Uzi Vert, the guy that wears dresses, they listen to that and they're internalizing that messaging. And I'm internalizing the ideas of Carly. I'm internalizing the ideas of Robert Greene. I'm internalizing smarter people than me to become smarter. Well, these people are, listening to some degenerate talk about how they did, drugs all weekend, how they party and just blow money and, hang out with strippers. Like I don't, I don't want to live like that. Why am I gonna consume that kind of content? You know what I mean? I don't know what Spinoza is. Dostoevsky's good. Camus is good. Young is good. Nietzsche's all right. Again, I don't really like any new age thinkers. I don't really like any. About talent. What are you talking about? Yeah, honestly, any book that you read, any book that you listen to is better than music. Unless you're listening to like Fifty Shades of Grey or like some weird fan fiction nonsense, like any book's gonna be better for you because you have to be more eloquent to be an author than you have to be for a rapper. So just using that as a pretty good rule of thumb. But yeah, right now I'm reading damn, it's over there. Kafka. I realized I've read Kafka when I was younger. I read a story that's called The Hunger Artist. It was alright. It's kind of weird, but the one I'm reading right now is the guy turns into a beetle. It's what I'm thinking it's about is the vision of God. I mean, the vision of God I have is just esoteric. So it's really just like how the ancient religions viewed God is how I view it. Like they don't view it as I don't know. It's like it's weird to me how all of Christianity is like Jesus is king, Jesus is Lord, and then they don't look to the metaphysical example of Jesus. They look for it as purely material. Like I think it's kind of crazy. Like it's really weird how it's so wrapped up in history. They talk about all these historical examples. They don't realize that there's symbolism and allegory in the Bible. That you know, the, Jesus said that you can do all that I can do. That we have the same capabilities as him, and he's the quintessential man. He has the ability of God, so that means we have the ability of God too. You know, God made Adam and Eve in his image, meaning we have God inside of us. God came down, created us, we can rise up to God. It's weird to me how we don't, like, it's weird to me how we pray where the Bible says that God's inside of us. So why do we need to pray when we have the operative powers in our mind? Why do we need to pray when we can simply just ask our, higher selves? Einstein said if he were Einstein believed in God. He just didn't. I don't think he believed in any set ideology, but I think he believed in I, Einstein did the same kind of practices I do. I'm not saying he copied me. Obviously, he couldn't, but like I more so copied him. But a way Einstein would get ideas is he would fall asleep and he would have the fork in his hand, and as he falling asleep, the fork would drop and it would land on a plate and it would smash and make a noise. And when it made a noise, it would wake him up. And basically, what would then happen was he would have genius ideas because he was in the in between conscious and unconscious, and then that combination is where God is. If you read the Bible, then you realize that the combination of Adam and Eve is God. That is literally Freemasonry. That's any occult ritual, any occult practice. It's in Kabbalah, Judaism. It's the Seal of Solomon or Star of David, whatever you want to call it. It's all there. It's the active passive principle. It's the combination of male female. It's yeah. There is no God outside of us. We're all God. We're all the same substance. Every living matter, everything in this universe is the same substance. So there's no external. Everything is internal. I know this is like sounding weird. It's all created from the same source. I mean, there's order to the universe, but it's on such a grand scale that we can't understand it. We can't fathom it. So we think it's chaos. And this is where the atheists go wrong because they're like, how could there be so much suffering? And it's like, it's for a bigger purpose. Oh, you're looking for anything else? Yeah, well, it's hard. I'll look up that guy that you were talking about though. Um, I'll see what he's about. Seemed pretty interesting. What's the thing you came to the realization recently? Um, my most recent realization. I mean, personal or a bigger scale. You sound like a Gnostic. Blue Pac-Man. It's literally like Gnosticism. Some people believe that we're trapped in hell right now, or this is purgatory, and we have to learn our lessons before we ascend to higher planes. The conception of heaven and hell really isn't correct, I don't think. I think it's more so just a boilerplate thing. I think these things are beyond comprehension, and like we make it simple so that children are afraid of hell. But I mean, we live in the material world, which is controlled by the devil. If you look into that story of Jesus going to the devil, or Jesus going to the desert, and the devil says, "I'll give you all the kingdom of earth if you jump." It means that the devil is the controller of earth. My most recent realization. Um, so I never really understood the animus. I never really understood the female side of the anima. So in every female there exists a male principle. I never really thought about how it worked. And now I realize that like most women shun that side of them. Like they think it's career or family. They think that they have to give up that masculine side, that ambition, that want to work, that want to have a career to be in a relationship. But the truth is they only have to give that feminine side. The man isn't looking for the masculine side, he's looking for the feminine side. And they have to come to terms with that. They have to come to terms with that masculine side and not demonize themselves. Like it's everyone has a mix of masculine and feminine, and it's accepting those traits and accepting those and integrating them into yourself so that you can be whole. And when you can be whole with someone else. But if you're fractured, all you can be is fractured with someone else. You have a fractured relationship. You want to have a whole relationship. It's really interesting because like now I really understand the perspective of a lot of my peers, a lot of the women I see around me. Like it's a constant struggle to try to be feminine but also be accepted in a world full of men. It's interesting. It's interesting. And now I really understand that from a relationship perspective because my sister is like in that side of things right now. And I think she'll figure it out because I'll help her. But I never really thought about the end because I never really understood it. But I just figured it. I'm trying to think. I have one more realization too. I don't know. I'm starting to be able to analyze my dreams and understand what they're meaning. It's pretty cool. Um, what was the dream I had the other day? The dream I basically had was that I was on like a barrel on like some sort of table, and like people were trying to get to me, and they were mindless. And what I think that was telling me was that what I'm trying to do right now, I don't feel like I'm reaching enough people, and maybe I need to stop worrying about that. Maybe I need to stop worrying about reaching everyone else because everyone's inherently going to try to bring me down. I need to start worrying about myself and just expressing myself. Because Emerson says to be genius is to be misunderstood. And I'm not saying I'm a genius, but like any intellectual, any smart individual is always going to be misunderstood by the masses. And I have to start worrying about that. I have to start worrying about what people en masse think about me. Um, and not even thinking about me, thinking about my ideas. I don't care what people think about me, but if they don't like my ideas, I have to stop getting concerned about that. Because like I don't care when someone doesn't like me, but I do. I don't know. We're revealing a lot of stuff right here. I get not that I get worked up. I get a little more upset when people can't see my perspective. Because I think it's such a helpful one, and it sucks that it gets lost in translation. But I think I just have to stop worrying about that. You Yeah, you're not sober right now. Maybe that's why you're spelling everything wrong. Um, whether we are in heaven, earth, or hell, all we have is right now. Exactly. Yeah. That's why I don't concern myself with the afterlife that much. Like people ask me about it, and I don't really reveal what I know. I don't really reveal what I think because it doesn't matter. We can do is speculate. It doesn't matter what I believe the afterlife to be if we can only see it once we're dead. Just worry about the now. Like the entire reason why monks forego their entire lives, they go up in the mountains and starve themselves and they're chaste and they don't unfold these aspects of themselves is because they're like, if I sacrifice now, I can live a better life in the future. And it's like, I don't think you get it. Like the reason to not want to eat, the reason to not want to chase women is because you are okay with yourself. You know what I mean? It's like you don't need those things because you've gone beyond them. Where people just deny themselves these pleasures for the idea of denying them. And it's like just do what you want. Don't live your life based off of some doctrine. And it's like it's the same thing with reincarnation. Like Osho was saying that reincarnation made Buddhists lazy because they were like, well, I can just do it in the next life. I don't have to come to terms with this now. I can come to terms with it in the next life. I gotta go now. I'll try to sleep while listening to live. Thank you, thank you. Geniuses are misunderstood mostly because the context of education, when someone learns something, the comparison in their head is that most people know that knowledge. What do you mean by that? I think geniuses are misunderstood for the fact that they're geniuses. Because quote unquote intellectuals, they think from a educational perspective. They think from, oh, this needs to be established by this study. This needs to be established by this. Oh, you can't just up and change the entire world. You can't just invent electricity. You can't just invent the special theory of relativity, change our entire conception of physics. Like that's what Einstein and Tesla did. Like everyone before they could prove it thought they were crazy, but they knew they were onto something. And like they're misunderstood until they're not. That's the thing. And even to this day, they're still misunderstood because people people don't understand what Tesla was about. People don't really understand why Tesla's inventions um, didn't really see the light of day. And it was because he was a humanitarian. It's because he wanted to help everybody. Like the reason why we don't have free energy is because Tesla discovered how to do it and basically got shelved because there's too much money to be made off of these things. Yeah, you guys want to talk about anything else? I'm like exhausted right now. Oh, Hypnodio, you missed the whole entire first part where we went over the 48 laws of power. Damn, how could you? Read young, you make that info make sense into your head. It becomes natural. So yeah, Tesla's too profitable to the moral world, exactly. See you, Blue Pac-Man. You sent me something in Discord? Would you do it right now? Yeah. Oh, okay, I see it now. I'll check that later. You already watched the stream? You're so literate while you're not sober. I mean, that's really most people. I wouldn't say that's just you. I feel like that's the entire point of drugs. Makes you not sober. Yeah, I have no idea. I can't believe you, man. I've been waiting this entire stream for you to join. Dude, Christina was here earlier and she's like, I think I'm pregnant. I'm like, bro, stop. I literally had to delete the message. I was like, I don't want this on my timeline. I don't want this on my chat. Damn, you type so much. All right, I'll read this later. Holy shit. Did you copy this or did you just Did you type that? That's gonna take me like 20 minutes to read. Oh, you ready to church group? Oh, okay, okay. I give you a pass then. Jessica, she doesn't get a pass. You get a pass if not you. Christina, usual behavior. Yeah. Bro, I literally had a timer out yesterday for what she was saying. This is fucking like it's fine when there's a lull, it's fine when there's nothing going on, but if I'm trying to say something, I just read the message and get angry and then forget. Like it's too difficult. Am I religious? Me? I have no idea. I don't know if religious is the right word because it depends what you mean by that. I have a deep sense of faith, but I don't subscribe to any set ideology. I think I think these things are too hard for the human mind to grasp, and I think it's something that we can only feel. I don't think we can begin to put into words, and when we start to begin to put these things into words, I think we lose the depth, we lose the meaning. It's also like every institution is inherently um, misrepresentative of anything. Like think of the Catholic Church, think of the you know Muslim caliphates. Like they don't necessarily represent the entire belief system. It's an institution. They want to remain powerful. They want to remain as the intermediary for God. They don't want their beliefs to be questioned. They want to become the beliefs. And that's really just my issue with it. Damn, bro. But you get so dark. Are you suffering because you burned yourself today? Is that what it is? Mm-mm-mm. There's the teenager taking out. Why do you think you're suffering? And why are we getting so dark here? The chat in the past like 5 minutes just completely changed. I didn't start it. This is where the conversation went. It's not me, it's you guys. You're not suffering. The moment you say you're suffering is the moment you start suffering. The moment you start appreciating what you have, the moment you start expressing gratitude, the moment you start seeing your blessings, the moment the blessings start to multiply. Your life becomes what you think it is. If you think your life is suffering, then it becomes suffering. It's really that simple. He knows and he is with you. Seek him. Why'd you say never mind? I'm so confused. What are you on right now? You said you. I'm just so confused with what's going on. Suffering is just another word for strengthening. Yeah, the thing is, you need to understand your life is only as hard as it has to be. Whatever thing is in your way, whatever thing you think is limiting you, it's there to teach you a lesson. It's there to tell you that you need to learn this lesson. You need to strengthen up so that you can project this strength to everyone else. I just think the people that are blessed in this world with, no hardship, they're they're not going to be able to experience this hardship. The more hardship you have, the more able you are to deal with it. We all heard different definitions. No, it doesn't matter though. Suffering is an inherently negative word. Don't associate your life with negative words. Don't associate yourself with negativity. The more you associate yourself with negativity, the more negativity you'll see. The less you associate yourself with negativity, the greater your life will become. It's really just that simple. And like, I mean, stress is just expectation. Stress is just ego. Like, if you really look at things, you won't be stressed out. If you really look from the entire perspective, if you look at absolutely everything you have in your life, how could you be stressed? If you really appreciate all the things you do have, like, dude, aside from your burnt hand, you have your health. Aside from, your burnt hand, you have a job. Like there's things you have that some people in this world don't have. There's things that people would die for to be in your shoes. I don't know what country you live in, but there's probably worse countries in the world to be. You could be in North Korea. You could be in, a place where you're judged based off the color of your skin. You could be in a place where, you can't get certain opportunities because you know, you don't believe in a certain God. Like, you know what I mean? It's like we can all point to things in our lives that we don't like, but we can also all point to things in our lives that we do like. And the more we appreciate what we do like, the more things seem to come to us. Take strength in pain. Yeah, every sorrow deepens the joy you can experience. What is a good day if you've never had a bad day? A good day just becomes annoying if you've had it enough times in a row. We need to go through these periods to reset and refocus and re-engage and understand what it is that we need to appreciate. Like what does it mean to succeed if you've never failed? It doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. Like if you don't have any setbacks in your life, you don't learn anything. You'll never grow. All you do is keep winning, 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 wanting more and more and more. You'll never know what true meaning, what true purpose is because you've never failed. Failure is our reset. Failure is our chance to, look back and be introspective and understand how far we've come and understand how far we still have to go. Yeah, I think we need to, if we all start focusing on what we do have and never again think about what we don't, that's happiness. That's joy. Like no matter what goes wrong, if we can always center ourselves and find the good of the bad, that's the way forward. Like I don't every time I film a video and it doesn't get any traction, I don't get discouraged. I don't even think twice. I just say, you know what? It's another day, another opportunity to continue to get better. You know what? I'm going to read another book today. After I read this book, maybe I'm smart enough to, have my message spread. Maybe I'm at the position where I can express myself in a manner that is entertaining and informative, and it's the right combination to hit the algorithm. You know what I mean? It's like every day is just an opportunity. Every failure, every setback is just an opportunity to reevaluate. Everything you experience today becomes your origin story. We'll take the anime response. Everything that happens to you today, you can just tell people about later. It becomes the first act of the movie. Every failure you have is just more character being built up, more character development, more of your arc. Guys, it's the winter arc. I hate that shit, but yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to get tired. That's the thing. What is running to drugs or alcohol? It's just trying to avoid responsibility. It's just trying to get you away from these things, and then you wake up and you feel it twice as much. Everything has to compensate. Everything has to go up and down. So right now you feel, you know, not stressed out and you're still worried. Like how you think you're gonna feel when you wake up. Like it's there's something you're avoiding. There's some part of yourself that you're missing out on, and just find it, man. Like stress, depression, anxiety, these things come from a misalignment of your values. What you're doing doesn't have any purpose behind it. What you're doing isn't motivated on a deeper goal. Like you're not connecting it with the bigger picture. You're not connecting it with something else. And I mean, for the very least, just know that like at your job, you're listening to books. At your job, you're, learning things. At your job, you're learning what you don't want to do. Give it purpose, give it meaning. Say the money I'm making today is going to be the money that, sustains me while I'm chasing this goal. Like find some purpose, find some value, find some good that's coming from this job. Good night, Hypnaudio. I was gonna end this myself soon. Maybe that's good timing. Yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. We might do a stream like this. We might do a stream where we go through a book, or we might just do a reaction stream. Really depends how I feel. But again, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys for being part of this. This was a cool stream.